Greg Protenick here, and today we're going to answer the question, does boiling water remove chlorine? What I'm going to start with is a flask with water in it. I'm going to add some orthotolidine, and orthotolidine is the same thing you use to measure chlorine in a swimming pool, and it turns yellow in the presence of chlorine. You'll notice that the water doesn't turn yellow right away, because I've drawn the water from a tap that has an activated carbon filter ahead of it. More on that a little bit later. So anyway, I'm going to add some chlorine to the water for the purposes of this demonstration, and do that by adding Clorox, and that will raise the level of chlorine in the water, and you'll be able to see the water turn yellow, and that will help you see that boiling water does in fact remove chlorine. You can see the water already starting to turn yellow, and I will put my stuff down and give it a good swirl, and it's bright yellow, but I need to get all my stuff out of the way. And what I'm going to do is set this on a hot plate and actually bring the water to a boil and allow you to see the yellow fade away, and that means the chlorine is going away. So if you've ever heard the saying, a watched pot never boils, well, it kind of does, but it takes it a real long time. This is a pre-recorded video, and it took about 10 minutes from the time I set the flask on the burner till the time it started boiling. So 10 minutes is a little bit long to watch, so I've decided to speed the video up and then just continue on through, so you can see that the water does in fact turn clear, meaning that the chlorine has been boiled out of it. Well, one thing I wanted to mention, having chlorine in the water is not a bad thing. It has been used to get rid of the disease-causing bacteria in the water. Principally cholera, dysentery, typhoid, poliomylitis, just to name a few. And it has really cut down on those kinds of infections. But that doesn't mean that you have to drink chlorine. So there are other ways to get rid of chlorine from the water besides boiling the water. One way would be, like I have, an activated carbon filter. You can use a water filter pitcher, like I started with, as a Brita pitcher. It's very inexpensive. The cartridges are cheap, and it's got activated carbon in it. That's the key material, filter material that you want to have, is activated carbon. And it will get rid of the chlorine. It reacts with the chlorine to just make it go away, really. And like I said, I started with a Brita filter and then moved up to an undersink filter, because the Brita, while it was great and made the water taste great, it was a little inconvenient because I kept having to fill it up, and it was just kind of a pain. So I went with an undersink filter, and I have to replace it every 6 months or so. And the way to test it is to just use one of these little orthotolidine test kits, and as long as the water is clear when you check it, then it's actually removing the chlorine. Activated carbon will also remove a number of other things, but if you're just seeking to remove chlorine, activated carbon will do it. A couple other things you can use is reverse osmosis or distillation, but oddly enough, the reverse osmosis and the distiller device have activated carbon filters ahead of them, because the chlorine will actually damage the reverse osmosis filter, and the activated carbon filter, which will remove it from the water, remove chlorine from the water. It's really not the purpose. They just want to remove anything that might boil out with the water and into the condenser chamber of the distillation unit. Basically, you boil water, capture the water vapor off of it, and then condense it back into a liquid. is what the process of distillation is. So it's a good process. It's a batch process. You can't just go to the tap and get distilled water. You have to actually make a batch of it and have it on hand. And as you notice, as the water is boiling, the color is starting to turn, or the yellow color is starting to dissipate. And that is showing you visually that boiling water does in fact remove chlorine. And like I said, I don't really know why you're wanting to get rid of chlorine. It may be for a fish tank, but an activated carbon filter pitcher, filter bottle, and I'll have links to all of this in the bottom of the, or below this video, will do the job just as well, and a whole lot less danger in terms of getting scalded. But there you're seeing the water clear up. It's almost completely clear. And from 10 minutes, they're going to show about 17 minutes on the video, or on the timer. And if you want more information, or you want to check out the products, go to betterwaterconcepts.com/shop. Thanks for watching.